feel free to see yourself there. If you didn't get a coffee this morning, a reminder, the coffee tab is open. Just say that you're with Wednesday AI with ATV, and it'll be on us. I'm really excited this morning to introduce you to Ben Schifrin. He's been a loyal attendee of Wednesday AI, and finally his turn to show and tell. This will go from 9 to 9:30, Q&A, and then this room is open for co-working until noon. If you want to stay, continue to share. So we're glad you're here.
Thank you, Kellyanne. And before we get started, I wanted to thank Kellyanne, Hilton, and Adair for inviting me to come. So can we give a round of applause to them real quick?
Thank you for the donuts, Ben.
Yes, of course. Okay. All right, we extended the monitor here. So today's presentation, we're going to be talking about how to win as a startup using AI. And in today's presentation, we're going to be talking about three things. The first are the AI fundamentals. The second are my tools and tips to use of how to best use LLMs and the tools out there. And the third are after you build your product or your idea, how to get customers. Let's get started. Before we start, I want to talk a little bit about me. This past Saturday, I ran a half marathon in preparation for my full marathon this fall, and I was able to use AI to accomplish my personal goals. I didn't even really ask anybody or look anything up. I created a Claude project, asked it to give me a training program, and I just followed along. And I think this is a really interesting time where people can accomplish their personal goals and their professional goals using AI. And this is actually my friend, I met him this past Saturday, Patrick, while running the half marathon. And to talk a little bit more about me, I went to Georgia Tech, I studied engineering and also minored in computer science. After graduating, I worked in consulting, and I really wanted to start my own business when I started working. So I left the job, traveled a little bit in Nepal and Southeast Asia, and went all in on starting my own business. Now I'm really working on helping companies adopt AI. This is a picture of me after I booked my first meeting from a cold call. As you can see, it was pretty hot in the room, and also the feeling I get when I show people Claude code. Additionally, some of my hobbies are I like to meditate, run, work out. I'm a big fan of the Hawks, art museums, as well as personal development. When you're building this startup, you don't really realize it, but you obtain a lot of personal development through the rejection and the pain, and I've really been enjoying that process to become and reach my full potential. Okay, and to talk a little bit more about me, I'll explain my story through this graph, which I think is an incredible graph, and I love this graph because it explains the rapid pace of LLM innovation. If we can all remember back when GPT 3.5 came out in 2022, it was a really interesting feeling. We were able to talk to like a machine that was a really amazing autocorrect. And as that time went on, we were able to see that LLMs got a lot better. We used to think that LLMs was like talking to a third or fourth grader, and now LLMs are completing the most like advanced math problems that people haven't even figured out yet. So in this graph, we're really seeing the rapid pace of LLM innovation, especially in software engineering right now, but we're going to be seeing this permeate throughout other industries. And this graph represents my story too. Back in 2022, I graduated, and to be honest, I was really bad at coding. I was really bad, and I wanted to create my own ideas and create my own software. I was pretty entrepreneurial, but didn't know where to start. And I still decided, I was like, I'm going to learn how to code. So after I graduated, I went to the cafes, I went to libraries, as we all probably are trying to do, become better. And when I was doing that, I had 3 windows open on my computer. I had my IDE, VS Code, I had a React tutorial to help me learn how to code, and I had ChatGPT to assist me if I had any questions. And as we can see throughout this graph, as the months went by and the years went by, I removed my React tutorial, and eventually I was able to combine my VS Code, like my IDE where you type your code, and ChatGPT into one, something called Cursor. And now, in this past year, we're seeing the prevalence and dominance of Claude Code. So I've removed Cursor and gone all in on Claude Code. And really, This graph represents, and I think is just a starting point of how we're going to be seeing the development of AI. Actually, I got this graph, and it came out at the beginning of this year, and with Cloud Opus 4.8 as well as Fable, we're going to be seeing much rapid development in LLM innovation. Now, how does this graph represent my story? Well, the thing about me is I love to teach people, and I think showing people the benefits of AI is my favorite thing to do right now. And it goes back to my story and what I'm working on, which is really to help other people that kind of had this limiting belief that they couldn't know how to code, that they couldn't build their own software, and to show them that they can improve their workflows and build their ideas. That goes a little bit into my company, which is LearnWithMatcha, which is give every person the skills to use AI well, and that's our mission. We go into companies that are trying to adopt AI and help their team members learn and understand how to use AI well so that they can enable themselves to improve their workflows and solve their problems. Okay, now, today's lecture. Once again, we're going to be talking about the AI fundamentals, what AI tools to use, and my frameworks for how to get customers as a scrappy startup. But before we get started, I would love to see a show of hands. Who here would like to start their own business one day? Could you please raise your hand? Okay, you can put them down. Who here is currently running their own startup? Awesome, awesome. Cool. And then anyone, and last show of hands, who here is currently working for someone else? Thank you. So just starting with the LLM fundamentals. Before we get started talking about AI, I think it's good to get everyone at the same level, and it's, there's so much going on with AI, so I created a little game to help everyone understand AI a little better. And how I made this game, you can just scan your QR code with your phone, is I scraped every job posting in this month that talked about AI, talked about adopting AI, or wanted some kind of AI engineer, and pulled out all the keywords and vocab that was related to AI, and I created this. It's like a little Quizlet, but really we can we'll play it real quick. It describes the current terms and helps everyone understand what people are talking about when it comes to AI. So the game is called AI to the Rescue. The premise is your coworkers keep hitting problems only AI can fix. You're the one who knows which tool does what, or do you? Let's find out. And this is really to help people become the AI champions in their office, or just know the LLM terminology a little better. All right, we're gonna do like 4 questions. Customers keep asking things buried in our 500-page policy manual, and I can't dig them out fast enough. I'll ask you guys, is it fine-tuning, ChatGPT, Midjourney, or RAG? Anyone want to give it a shot? The answer is RAG. So what RAG does, it's called, the term is retrieval augmented generation. Really, like the example is when you're talking AI and you want to throw in a PDF and ask questions to it, that's RAG, and that would help you in this situation. Okay. I want the AI to see my calendar and my files so it can actually help with my day. Our options are ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, MCP, or embeddings. And here I'll answer this. The answer is going to be MCP. What an MCP is it's like an adapter or an API that connects your AI into other tools. We'll just give a couple more. And then the AI writes fine, but it never sounds like us. I want our exact tone every time. And here the answer is going to be fine-tuning. Really what fine-tuning is when you have like a model or you're talking to something and you want it to have all your systems, all your processes and documents, you would use fine-tuning. And lastly, I want AI to actually book the demo, update the CRM, and send a follow-up, not just tell me how. The answer for this one is going to be AI agents. And really, this is like been a big term since 2024 of how to get AI, instead of just analyze things for you, how to do things on your behalf. Okay. So you can look at that game, and that's pretty much the terms that people are using right now when it comes to AI. So next are the tools I recommend. And this is going to be my first hot take, is really to be ahead of most people, just understand how to use Claude or ChatGPT in their suite of tools like Claude Design, Claude Cowork, ChatGPT has Codex, and you'll be really ahead of most people. And I'm going to be talking about Claude. If you have a question about how this relates to ChatGPT, I'm sure someone here uses Codex. Actually, raise your hand if you use Codex here. Okay, we got a few people. So my recommendation is we have kind of 4 different elements of Claude. We've got the website, we've got Cowork, Code, and Design. And how I use them, I kind of use them interchangeably and also together. And I'll show my workflow after this. But the question a lot of people ask is, when do you use Claude Cowork? They kind of release that as an easier and more simple way than Claude Code. And I love Claude Cowork for if you have like specific folders on your computer, or you want to schedule tasks to run, that's really great. I'm using Claude, the website, a ton for deep research. I love deep research. I use it like every day. If you want to see information about, let's say what's going on with AI, just run deep research on it. It'll pull 500 articles, put it all into one document. I love it. And then Claude Design is incredible because it's they're making so many updates to it. You're able to create UI, UX, front ends for apps, websites, literally anything you want, and you can just plug it into Claude Code and it'll generate it. So, okay, I gave you the tools, but I'll show you my workflow too. And real quick, just to anthropomorphize AI or to relate it to a person, kind of when I'm building a software, I use them all together. So if you want to build a software in a company, you have a product manager, a coder, and a designer. And I think of the PM as a Claude, the coder or software engineer, as Claude Code, and the designer as Claude Design. And you become the manager of these people using it. So if you want to create your MVP, I built this little workflow that kind of explains how I use it. It's a website called Excalibur. It's pretty good. So let's say you have your idea. My first recommendation is to talk to Claude and prompt Claude to think like a product manager and give your idea to Claude. You're going to want to give it like a context dump or really just give it all the information about your idea. And then you ask Claude to generate something called a product requirements document. This is a product management term, but really just it's in the term, but it really describes your product, and Claude will create this product requirements document, and you're going to have this one document that really describes your product. You can upload it to Google Drive, and you iterate on it. Every step of this process, I recommend to iterate. And all I mean by iterating is literally asking Claude to improve with whatever your recommendation or advice will be. This is where the human in the loop is really important. My next recommendation is after you have your product requirements document, put screenshots of companies or branding that inspire you. I love doing this. You can go on any website and look at a design that you really like or an app that you really like, and you copy and paste those screenshots into Claude Design plus your product requirements document and anything else you want to add, and then it will give you a design. It's incredible. I'm terrible at design. I'm worse at design than the kindergartners at Applebee's coloring with their crayons. And then my recommendation after that is to iterate. It'll give you a design, you can just chat with it, and it'll create a design that you like. After that, you have a design, and then you share it to Claude Code with your product requirements document, and it will give you a working software, a working app that you can work with. Okay, and then once again, iterate. You want to talk. You want to see if there's any bugs. There's always going to be bugs, and you fix them. Okay, then you have your idea on your computer. How do you get it to other people? My recommendation is to use this service called AWS. There's other ones that do backends like Render or Railway, and to be honest, this is a much bigger lecture, but you can just ask Claude and it will help you. But why I recommend using AWS? First, Netflix, all the biggest companies are using AWS. I think even Anthropic and OpenAI probably use AWS. And the second one is they give you $1,000 to use AWS. And with that $1,000, you'll be able to see if your idea is worth using or if worth working on. Okay, now we just created an MVP. You have an idea, you created some kind of MVP using software. The next question is how to get customers. And this is really relevant to a product or a service or any other thing you want to sell. This is a framework I built for how to get customers. And this is what I always think through when you want to get your first 10 customers. So it's kind of a pyramid. I always recommend starting bottom up, going from people you know to warm intros to people you used to meet, all the way up to shared communities. This is kind of like a shared community where your customers can buy into strangers. And I don't even recommend like strangers. I recommend like maybe someone that lives in Atlanta or someone that went to your school. That counts, just to make it a little less cold. And the reason I really recommend this, before someone really thinks of like, oh, you want to advertise, you want to buy Facebook ads or Instagram ads to sell your product, is because of this top of funnel. As someone that's currently selling right now, the cost of, let's just say cold calls, you will cold call around 100 to 150 people, not everyone's going to pick up, to get one meeting. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to cold call people 3 hours to get one meeting. That takes a long time, and you'll face a lot of rejection. My recommendation is to ask people you know, and really, this is a great use case of AI. I'll explain how I use AI for this one. With LinkedIn, you can export all of your data. You can export all of your connections, all of your followers. And what I do is I export it, download it, upload it into Cloud, and I say, my customer is XYZ. Find me my customers through my connections. And it will literally give you your connections on LinkedIn that you can DM. 100%. I love doing that. My next thing, advice within this pyramid, is the shared communities. I pay around $100 a month to deliver value in shared communities online, because these are where my customers are. And eventually, if you deliver enough value, they'll ask you what you do, and you become friends, and you can sell it to them. So that's another thing you can do. So here, 3,000 cold emails per meeting. These are cold emails to strangers. I like manually cold emailing people, and you don't get 3,000 if you manually cold email. These are people, strangers that you might have some kind of connection with. Let's say they're in Atlanta, or they went to Georgia Tech, or maybe they started their own company. You find something to make them a little less cold. It's my recommendation to find your first customers. Okay, and this is something that I'm still ideating on since I'm early on. But after you find your first 10 customers, my recommendation for your sales motion in the beginning is to have one ideal customer profile from your early customers. One channel like cold email, LinkedIn, or cold calling. And finally, one thing you're going to be selling. The reason why you do this is I view the sales motion and getting customers almost like a scientific experiment. These three things are three variables, and you can test and change your variables. Maybe test and change your ideal customers or your channel. Maybe you don't want to do Facebook ads. Maybe you want to do TikTok ads. And this also allows you to focus, because building a startup is actually requires a lot of focus, a lot of things pulling you at different ends, and you have kind of these three variables that you can work on in the beginning. And I'm going to show some companies that are actually doing this with these channels. The first, if you're on Twitter, they talk about this company a little bit, and I don't really want to talk too much about the customers but offer, but their channel right now, the channels that are working in 2025 and 2026 are influencer marketing when it comes to selling apps. These companies pay influencers with 50 to 200,000 followers on TikTok, around $2,000 a month, to promote their app and TikTok posts once a day. And after they get the app, like the post, and they see that they're trending, they create ads from them. So that would be my recommendation if you're having an app to learn from them. The next is an e-commerce company called Bruins, and they sold their company for $1 billion through like really smart Facebook ad, Instagram ad experimentation through paid ads, which I like paid ads. They work well for me. And then finally, this guy, he went to Georgia Tech. He has been here before at Atlanta Tech Village, and he has 250,000 followers on LinkedIn, and he runs a recruiting company. I love this marketing channel because think of if you're trying to get a job and you just graduated college, you're going to be on LinkedIn. He posts on LinkedIn 3 times a day. It's amazing, and you can see he has so much interactions on his posts. And that's where he's getting his customers to. His customers are businesses that pay him to be on the job board, as well as he's getting his clientele, these 22-year-olds, through these LinkedIn posts. And this is one of my favorite quotes. It's not actually Pablo Picasso, someone else earlier on, but good artists copy, great artists steal. In the startup world, there's this term called first principles. When you're doing marketing, you don't need to think of from the beginning of how to get customers. You just look at how your competition is getting customers and just do that, but a little better. That's my recommendation. You don't have to reinvent anything. And once again, that's my hot take. Just copy what your competition does in the beginning. Your competition is paying money, spending time to figure out how to get customers. Just learn from them and do what they're doing, but a little better. Okay, finally. The key takeaways. My key takeaways in this presentation are use AI tools together to get the best output, learn from your competition, and referrals and people you know are your best first customers. And finally, I've been doing the startup journey for around a year now, and I've been thinking a lot about how early on you think you're just going to solve a problem and people are going to pay you and you're going to make a whole bunch of money. But now I think a lot more in terms of the next 10 years. What kind of problem do you want to be solving for the next 10 years? And I think a really good analogy for that is a marathon. I'm training for a marathon right now. But what I also didn't mention in this presentation is I've failed a ton. I've cold called thousands of people. I've cold emailed tens of thousands of people. I'm currently banned on Facebook because I messaged too many people. And I view this all as a part of the process to success. Success is like a ladder, and every failure I have is like a run up that ladder to achieve success. So that's kind of my thought of it's a marathon. And finally, if you want to follow me, that's my email, and that's also my LinkedIn on a QR code. And thank you guys so much, and thank you Hilton, Adair, and Kellyanne for inviting me.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to open up the room for Q&A. So if you can stay in for that, that'd be great.
Sure. If anyone has any questions.
What was that first QR code you put up on the original slide?
Yeah, that's the first one.
That's
just like the game. Okay.
Hi, Candace Howell. Nice to meet you, Ben. So one question I have is some of your customers and that you're gaining traction with, what do you see as their challenges that they're having with getting AI adoption in their companies or teams?
Yeah, I would say the main challenge is really, I would say two things. Change management, so people have processes and it's hard to get them to try new things. And the second are integrating AI champions within the team. Normally, I'm seeing a really good approach going bottoms up. Say you have a team of 5, if no one's really adopting AI, but if you just got one person that shows how they're using it, how they're improving their workflows, and helping that one person kind of get the word out, that's what I'm seeing. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Cody? Yeah.
Is there any, I'm curious, obviously there's AI coding, but outside of that, what business functions do you see people trying to introduce AI in the most, or is that everything?
Right now, when it comes to business functions, we're really seeing just automating processes that people don't like doing. That's the main one I would say. Yes?
So what's next on your, as I'm building, I'm always like, well, this is what I want to get to. It's either a gap I need to fill or it's something I want to experiment to. What takes me to the next level of speed, accuracy, depth. So particularly with regard to the market.
Yeah, for
you,
what I'm selling,
what's your next level?
Yeah, for what I'm selling, I really like bottoms up approach. This is, I might be a popular term right now, but we see it through Cursor, who just sold for $60 billion. But they got all the developers using this thing and sold it to SpaceX. We got Granola. I don't know if you guys use Granola. It's like an AI reporting tool. They get everyone using it individual, and then they sell it to these companies. So long term, I would love to build an educational platform, and then individuals will be using it, and you can sell it to those companies, and people already know your software, and you can sell the service.
pretty much how Git got going, right?
What's that mean?
It's how Git really got its traction.
Yeah.
Everybody's using it anyway, it's like we might as well open the door, let them do it.
Yeah, product-led growth, I mean, it's hard. But yeah, I mean, it's that's fun. Any other questions? Yes, sir?
Do you see any resistance when you go to companies for recommending AI? They want to see the ROI based on the kind of tokens you earn? Because I think that might be something.
Yeah, I think tracking ROI right now is like a big topic people are talking about in AI. Like, how do you actually, when you implement, so you spend $1 million a year, how do you see like the ROI? And yeah, I mean, it's just a topic. I don't have the answer for it right now.
Well, if you're saying, for example, automation, right? That's, you know, you write Python scripts and now the code does that for you. Is that enough to justify, you know, starting, you know, having an LLM and kind of training a few folks? I feel like you may not justify it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a case-by-case basis. What we're seeing when I'm selling into companies, I'm not selling to software engineering teams. These people, like I said, these are like people that are already like, super AI native. So it's more like other teams that need more help. Yeah.
So regarding privacy and securing your code base, do you know if Cloud Code could be sandboxed to where it doesn't have access to company servers?
That's a great question. I would say, yeah. I think when people buy these, do you know this? Yeah, you want to intro?
Yeah, so with Cloud Code, you have to permission certain folders, so you can do that. And if you're really worried, you can always use an open source model. Like OpenCode is a really good open source model platform. You can route to whatever model you want.
Well, what about Llama?
Yeah, so that's just a model that you can use with any one of these platforms. So look up OpenCode, it's a good one, but you can also always restrict Claude or Cursor or whatever.
Alright, sounds good, thanks.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me, and
Alright, we're gonna put a little music on the background for you to work, converse among yourself, continue to ask questions. Next week, same time, same place, we'll be talking about creating your own Jupyter stack.
Hey, Ben, why don't you put your QR code back up here?
Yeah. To the calendar of our former podcast sponsor, so we created the AI incubation team at our company to go AI native platform. What? Yeah.
So the company that has a certificate from the public what's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so David talked about and I was put together a
Yes.
competitor now area, but our old board members, so we're very
sending you as a rival.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, all right.
We're cheering on each other, you know, like.
It's a morning.
They
We'll
still have
start
soccer
something.
going on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and help.
Oh, your customers are
David
big.
Johnny.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're a couple of the advice space, so, yeah, some data, things like that, and information of the, basically translate policies into guardrails and understanding not only what actions that the agency do, but why they're taking this action and what policies and regulations.
What are you
Every regulation.
What do you offer?
It's just white fish.
Yeah, I mean, the market is like flooded.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know like 3 stars.
Yeah, I went through them and basically studying the agency or the agency strategy. And like 50% staff, like 10 of them were trying to do security.
So how are you asking, I guess, how to talk to customers over on Facebook?
Like, I've already been compliant. I was like, you're my competition, let's just show each other. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe try to
Real quick, if you can, I'm so sorry. Thank you.
I don't know
That's great.
Yeah.
We used to do that in the 90s and 80s. It's like putting a quote into your answer. Where that might go like, exactly. There was a, I don't know if you guys are and one of them was, a guy got mad at one of their customers or she had their son. So the kid put his name in there, the company lost all their tables.
Wow. Yeah.
But the thing is, those cars aren't people that are customer service that want to buy. I would try to, I mean, LinkedIn, what I'm doing is pretty simple. Add on. But I'm just saying, my Facebook private customers, I deal with customers. But yeah, I was focused more on Facebook because I was myself. I was getting my friends got me down the road.
Do you have the agency?
Oh, you want patience? Okay. Yeah, where are the patient? That's the question.
Wow.
Are you in the can you create another group? Another Facebook profile and try to like sneak and then add them all as friends? Be the admin there. Just create another profile. Join the group. That's what I'm doing. But yeah,
I love it.
Everybody would lose for another $100,000.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.